Hello, good people of the planet Earth. My name is Jeremy Ian Thomas, and it has been a long time. I'm the worst at doing tutorials. I'm a full-time artist, musician, filmmaker, so it's hard to fit them in. But this is me. This is the beginning of a lot more tutorials because this is going to be the first in a series. But I think it's been about 3 years, and I also want to say I am also to kind of merge these things. And before, the reason I never really went too hard mentioning it was because I wasn't really recording much and didn't know if I would be. But I'm also Surreal from Surreal and the Sound Providers, Surreal and DJ Balance, and my group from Florida, my homies, was Synapse 9 and DJ Balance, Bongo Dread. We were called Double Helix, so you could look for that too. The album's called Soundproof. I've got a bunch of new music out on Spotify under Surreal. If you look up Pardon My Dust and Future Classic, and even share some stuff under Jeremy Ian Thomas as well. So I'm on Spotify now. Check it out right here. I'm gonna plug in a link right there. But today I'm getting started a series because the game has changed, man. Usually my tutorials are specifically about samples for the most part, and it's still sample based, but this is the first in the series showing off some sample packs, man, because there are some people right now that are making really incredible samples, and I've heard of TrackLib is a new thing coming out. I haven't really messed with that too much, and let me also show you these brothers here. Soul Surplus Plus. I think that's yeah. So these are another brother. So if you know the Drum Broker, which is where I get a lot of drums from, my homie Marco Polo's got kits up here. I'm down real close with the MSX Audio. I'm in MSX Audio. I'm doing educational, visual content, sonic content for them, and then also the new big one that's really popping off. That's incredible, man. That you guys got to get on if you're in Ableton. Is the Racks for Live. I can't even tell you. This is just next level. And I'll have some tutorials coming a lot for Racks for Live. That's my main gig there. But I'm also going to be doing something for the brother Cap Sun and his people over there. Listen, man, these soulful pianos and keys, these MIDI. Listen, man, if you aren't up on this stuff, I'm putting you up right now. These are incredible musicians that also have really good taste, really good sound designers. And then the Soul Surplus brothers are next level, man. I've used a bunch of their samples. So, write all these names down, take a look, and then they have really fair prices on like doing licensing and stuff. But today I'm specifically gonna be featuring the Crabtree Music Library, and I really just became familiar with this person, Matthew Crabtree, over the past month or two, and then I kind of did a deep dive, and he's already gold as a producer, RIAA, and so I started checking his packs out and actually bought the first one and made a bunch of stuff out of that, and then reached out to him and said, hey, I really like what you're doing, maybe I could do a tutorial. And he sent me all his packs. So all you sound designers that are watching this, if you want me to do a tutorial on your pack, send it over, and I'll put the email address up now. Send it to that email address. But today I'm specifically going to be getting into I think it's the third one. It's his new one. And it's this sample. So just to go through some of these, I'm just going to play some of these for you. And this is the newest one. What I like about what he does is he's obviously a producer, right? And so he has, just to listen to the pocket of these samples. Beautiful stuff. And it really, his chord stuff is really beautiful. Right, so these are all different ones, and you better not steal these off of here, or I will find you and hunt you down. These are people that you need to, you really need to be supporting. They're not big companies. Don't pirate these. I get it. People pirate software. Listen, I'm not in that conversation. These are small little shops of guys that are just trying to make an honest living. I buy these, man. I want this community to grow. But this is the one I messed with today. It's great because it has the BPM and the scale. This one's super duper dope to me. I'm gonna walk you guys through my whole process of doing this. All right. I mean, he's obviously designing with like Contact or something, right? It's not a bunch of live stuff, but it's, the ideas are great, man. Really, really great ideas. And also sound design is great, man. That's that guitar. All right, so that's the sample, right? And my Ableton, since I went on to High Sierra, has been giving me problems, so I may restart at times. You won't feel it at all, but you may see something pop up. Okay, so what I generally do is I would warp the sample. So I brought the sample in here, and what you do, and this is remedial, but I'm gonna do the whole thing today. I'm just gonna go through the whole process. I would just go to the very first click here in the piano roll, right click, warp from here, boom, you click that. And then I generally see what the initial warp does. You set your BPM, by the way. So first, before you even drag anything in, that's what I do is I'll say, this is going to be 90 BPM. That's kind of the vibe I've been in. So, right? Right? And then what I do is I'll make a copy, Alt, and drag down. And then I just drag this to the next one, right? And see what this part of the sample sounds like when I play it. So there's some horns. And if that one's off a little bit, if it's not on the grid, and it's also good to do this. It's a little behind the grid, but that's okay. But you can also right click each one, warp from here. Set your one there, right? So the loop of that next part is here. And I just did that going all the way down. Right, through the whole sample. That's what I do first. And I just kind of see what's there, what I'm liking. And for this one specifically, like I said, his chord progression is really dope. And so I don't know if a lot of you are using this. I'm sure people are at this point. But the audio to MIDI thing is crazy. It's a little bit like Melodyne. And, it's a whole algorithm that will read the audio file and turn it into MIDI. And what MIDI looks like is this, right? This is just basically ones and zeros telling the computer where the chords are and where the different, where the instrument's landing. So what I generally do, and this is the trick to audio to MIDI, and I've said this before, but this is what this tutorial is about, specifically today with Matthew's stuff, is what I would do is I would make a copy, boom, right, here's a copy. And then I would go in and I would mix out what I didn't want. And I think I might have did a pass on this. Actually, it was here. So this is my original dipped out, the bottom end, because of what I'm really concerned with, boom, are just those stabby chords. They're super dope, right? So what I did from there is right click, convert audio to MIDI. Let me save real quick because this thing could probably crash at any moment. Convert audio to MIDI. And what it does is, and again, a lot of you that have seen this, hey man, click on. You don't have to stay here. And don't get brolic in the comments either. You guys are ridiculous when you do that. So here, what it does is it assigns a piano. Right, that's just the Ableton piano. And then it takes and does an approximation of what it thinks those chords are gonna be. So if I play that. A lot of notes aren't correct, man. And this is where, a good ear, it's always good to have a good ear, no pun intended. But what I generally do is see this top left, this little headphone thing lets me kind of scroll through. So, okay, that's a beautiful chord. There's two really dope chords, right? Yeah, so again, I'm not going to go through and edit this, but really you would start listening. Like this, you either extend it or get rid of it. It doesn't make any sense. So there's your bass line. Boom, boom, drop that down, right, boom, 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 right, doom, 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 doom. So there's you can see it, right? You start to say, oh, here's the low end of the image, I guess stereo image, low end of the audio. That's where the bass is. So that's kind of generally the first thing I'll do. I'll take this, again, Alt and drag over. I'm not going to make a copy, but I guess I can make a copy. And then this is the bass. This is a bass I use. This is from Ableton 8, and it didn't show up in 9. And I do have it, and I will put it up with this link on my Dropbox and leave it up this time. It's called Dub Maker, and it's easily my favorite bass. It's just an analog patch, an analog, which is obviously the instrument in here, but it's cool. It's got its own filter cutoff. It's got an LFO. It's got a cabinet in it, which is giving it that body, but it's just got a very natural. And then this is what the bass that I freaked, right? Right? But this obviously comes like this, so you gotta come in here and edit. You come in here and get rid of this, right? And that's gonna be too low, and so I'll shift up arrow, right? So there, it takes it up an octave. So you drag that out, and you just kind of figure out, boom, doom, right? So maybe drop these, get rid of these, right? So you start building it, and again, there's options. The way I built my bass line is not exactly what Matthew did. Mine gets built out of other notes, and that's what's cool. Is it sounds good? It's in right. There's a different version of the bass line. Doom, doom, boom. Right. Doom, doom, doom. Right. You can see it. So again, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But that's how you would do the bass line. So boom, there's your bass line. And again, I went through and designed it more and made sure, yeah, cool. And then from there, so this harmony, when you figure out the chords, right? Boom, 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 they're there. And that's a really good way to just kind of, there's stuff there. So you kind of hold on to this. I would drag this down to the end and let it kind of sit down there. And then I start thinking like, okay, what do I want my main instrument to be? And if you look at this, which is the the initial computer's kind of algorithm and my edit, they're not that much different. But what you do is you Command A, Command U, which will quantize it. But then as you see here, those aren't on the grid. You would scribe, it's an editing process. And I'm not, again, that's the hard work. There's no way for me to just, give you some MIDI plugin to make that work for you. So then again, here's the chords cleaned up. And again, I edited it and moved some stuff around, which is where your artistic integrity or your artistic touch comes in. But this is the chords that I was able to pull again from this. Oh, before I do that, I definitely dropped more low end out, because then once I got these, well, you know what, I'm going in reverse. Let's just show you the chords. And again, this is Lounge Lizard, one of my favorite plugins. Excuse me. My boy Ebo says he hates it. He's a professional Rhodes player, or he is at least on the weekends. He says he doesn't like this one, but if you get in here to the edit page and you really kind of start to deal with the hammer, the pickup, the fork damper, all of this stuff, you can really dial in a really nice sound. And then the effects, I'm using a delay and a reverb, and then some compression and stuff in my sends. And then I'm also using a little delay thing that I created. But these are the chords, and it's dope, man. They have like a real gospel-y vibe to them, really cool. And what's dope is, let me take everything else out of this. When I drop Matthew's sample back over my chords, watch how they interact. No, that's not correct. Where was that coming from? Oh, that was harmony. Sorry about that, guys. Watch how they interact. Don't mind that other thing. See, I'm just getting the prings now, and then the voice. Come on, man. Dope, right? Right, and then here, drop our bass in that we made. Beautiful, man. It's beautiful. Drop his sample back on. And what's great now is you've already set up these loops with this sample, and so now you can press play on the second one. Horns. Right. Very dope, man. Very dope. And let me show you what I am putting on the my send. So I use True Verb from Waves, one of my favorite reverbs, and I have it on Millennium Verb, which is a really long kind of obtuse reverb. But for this sample, it just makes it kind of watery to me, you know, and this is what it was. Just kind of waves it out. It's a mixing thing, you know. And what's cool is this is an A major, and so I've been learning a lot about the keys, and this is just me thumbing around with that same Wurlitzer, right? It's got a cool vibe. Let me loop it at 8. Yeah. And then what I'm going to show you now is the drums. Drums are, you know, drums are drums. I actually used, interestingly enough, I'm in a crew called the Beat Fanatics. Definitely from the kind of early 2000s, late 90s. My homeboy Slop Funk Dust and like Nicolay, Illmind, S1, man, so many. Crisis, Anthony Accurate. There's so many dope producers that went on to do really crazy things. Illmind and S1 are like two of the most known hip-hop producers in the world, both really good people too. But a guy named Rick Marvel's in that crew, and he before anybody was doing it, including Illmind, or as everybody in the crew called him, Junior, he had a collection of drums, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was the one that was sharing the drums with the crew. And what was really cool is if I show you some of his the way his drums were set up. Here's a good example. So let me turn this on. Right, so this is a snare. But the way he would do it is there would be one snare, right? A kick. He would do it in one wave, right? Which is really interesting. But I used a lot of his drums for this drum bus. Let's take a listen to it. Yeah, it's super simple at the moment. Again, I didn't really flesh this out because I wanted to do the tutorial. But the kick is from Rick. This is from Rick. And it's just, again, he has these like crazy like hi-hat loops that I think he may have played. I think he plays drums or something. But I put a bit reducer on this, so that's what it sounded like. And I've been doing this to hi-hats a lot, man, because it kind of sticks them in the groove a little bit better. This one's a little loud still for my taste, right? So this is just kind of like a funky, it's kind of an R&B joint, right? I mean, let me turn that off, right? Check out Matthew's vibe here. Very dope, dude. This is very, very dope. And you can kill yours and let the high ones play. know how to do automation. But if you look, that's me doing, if you look at the frequency, that's a human envelope, right? So it's not just a 1/16 or trying to dial it in. I did that by hand, and that just gives it a little bit more of a flavor, right? Yeah. And then down here, I took the chords and just did this, and I was starting to work on not this. That sounds horrible. I started working on like a pizzicato kind of feel. Again, this is early stages. Yeah, man, it's good stuff, and it's cool, man. When you learn enough theory. Dope stuff, Crabtree, bro. This is a very, very, very lovely vibe, man. And then I'm gonna show you guys one last thing here. One of my favorite plugins, man, and I use it all the time because I can't really sing. It is the iZotope vocal synth, man. If you're not messing with this, you have to. It's so damn dope. It's essentially 4 different vocal processors in one plugin. So the Polyvox, which is essentially, and this is what I did, right? Right. So it's just me scatting basically. So all my homies can make fun of me if you want, but I do like to scat sometimes. So what I have going on here, so without it, I'm out of tune. I'm close. Whatever, flat. I'm flat. So here's the dry signal, which is just being auto-tuned into A major. So I'll just show you the auto-tune. Right, it's not super clean, but and then this is the CompuVox. I'll let you hear what this is doing. Right? So damn dope, dude. It's so dope. All right, and then this is the harmonizer, which I don't even think I'm using, but I'll show you what it's doing. So it's a dry signal. So what it does is it'll stack it, right? So it's a 3-part harmony. That's a 5th. Do the 7th. Go to the 2nd. It doesn't sound, that's why I didn't use it. This one. I haven't done one in a while, man. A lot more coming. I'm gonna do. I've got a bunch of Racks for Live stuff coming. I'm about to update to Ableton 10 and be doing a bunch of stuff. Man, they have so many products that I want to show off, that I want to start putting into my arsenal, man. Man, this is so cool. This is a really exciting time, man. Things are changing. We spent so many years not being able to sample, and music changed drastically because of that. Some good, some bad. I mean, you get a Hiatus Coyote. out of kids who grew up on hip hop music that learned how to play music because, you know, there was no samples. I don't know that that's their story, but I feel like that's where those kind of groups come from. When you hear their pocket, the Dilla pocket on a jazz record, you're like, yo, this is crazy. So it's beautiful, but at the same time, man, we lost a little bit of that vibe. So there's a lot of people that have been putting in a lot of work. Like I said, man, I'm going to run them down again. Today was Matthew Crabtree. Big shout out to you, brother. Thanks for sending me this stuff. What you're doing is incredible, and you know, the whole community of sample people, I'm sure, are excited for you being involved. And MSX brothers, man, this is my crew. Basically, this is my crew. I use the lo-fi melodics all the time, the slump loops. I live off of these things, man. These are just vital stuff for my production. Cap Son, I've been a fan of this for 5 years, I think, and one of the first things I bought was these soulful pianos and keys. Listen, man, these are such a steal at $15. It's a bunch of different MIDI as pianos and played with velocity and just gorgeous. And he's got a bunch of dope sample packs. I'm going to be reviewing Crayons really soon. Soul Surplus. I mean, listen, man, there's like 7 different musicians that come in or more that come in and do this. Big shout to all of you guys, man. It's so much love coming from me. I appreciate you guys and what you're doing. And yeah, man, I think that's it. I'm going to sign out. A lot more coming. I'm going to be putting them up. I'm going to try to put them up monthly at first, and then I'm trying to get to weekly, man. I'm trying to get this workflow popping. Big shout out to Isotope as well. If you're watching this, send me some free plugins, man. But yo, peace, love, and hair grease. And oh, wait, Racks for Live. Listen, I talked about that. Listen, I'm just going to show you one thing here. I think it was this one. These brothers, man. So this is the demo of their melodic stuff that they're putting now inside of Ableton. Samples, drums. I mean, listen, man. Listen, these not only are they amazing at sound designing, these are world-class producers, world-class musicians. You are so incredibly blessed to be able to have access to this stuff royalty-free. Yup. Big shout to Steele. Daniel Steele is an alien. Big shout to Sim. Anyways, all right, enough. I know I'm getting all sappy, but I'm excited to be involved with this community. Big shouts to everybody. New stuff coming soon. Surreal. All the links are going to be in the bio and stuff for the Surreal music coming out and all the Spotify. I'm going to be doing a record with my homie Mecca83 as well. But yo, peace, love, progress.